Ahoy people, please don't forget to give this video a like if you like it. Also make sure you sub to the channel by clicking the icon in the bottom right hand corner, and then when you sub to the channel make sure you have your push notifications turned on, that little bell symbol, so that you're alerted anytime we put a new video on our channel. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. In today's episode we are going to get ourselves a thrall. In episode 4 we basically got all set up and ready to go. You can see on my bottom bar in number 2 I have a skinning knife, number 3 I have an iron pick, number 4 I have the horax that I made to harvest bodies for my god, number 5 is where my thrall taker is, basically my truncheon to knock them out, number 6 is my fiber binding to drag them, and then I got my water skin and my meat here. So I would highly suggest that before you go and do this, that you actually make yourself some light armor and possibly a shield. It probably will make what I'm about to do a little bit easier, but if you want to go without it, you can. Just understand that you might have a hard time killing the camps and capturing the thralls. Now, if you watch in episode 4, I made myself a reset potion, and so I have currently reset my attributes and my feats, and what I want to do is I want to get at least to number, so that's good, but I want to be here, because if I'm here I also now deal 25% increased damage to negative statuses of cripple and bleed. And so just FYI, you only need the first perk in strength, but to have the second perk is actually quite important. And then I'll throw the rest in encumbrance just because, and there we go. Alright, so I've reset, I got everything I need, so now let's go grab ourselves a thrall. Now you will notice that I don't have elevators yet. I'll get elevators by the next episode, so I can jump off here, but then I have to run back up my stairs. So the thrall camp I'm going to go to is actually right there. There's a gazillion of them around here. I'm just going to go to that one just to kind of show you how this works. And luckily there's a nice little spot here that I can actually jump off, land in the water, and hopefully not kill myself. Boom. Okay. Alright. So we'll show you how all this works here. So hopefully I won't die. So let's talk about thralls a little bit here. So there are many different types of thralls. There are just regular fighter type thralls, and then which are archers or fighters, and they basically all go from tier 1, so they have a 1 by their name, all the way up to a 3. And then if it's a named guy where it just has a specific unique name, then that is a you know, special thrall or special NPC that you can make into like a tier 4 thrall. And then each one of your crafting stations can also have a thrall that helps to reduce the amount of stuff you need to put into your crafting thing. So for instance, a cook would increase how it would reduce the amount of time it takes to cook. But like if you have a blacksmith thrall on your blacksmith and he's like a tier 3, then when you try and make something, it requires less iron bars or less steel bars, and it also makes it faster. The smelter, he goes on your furnaces, and he increases the speed at which you make stuff in the furnace and reduces the amount of stuff needed to make those items. Cooks work on both campfires and on your fireball cauldron. And then you also have alchemist that you can put on your fireball cauldron. Now an alchemist is needed to make your orbs. You can make water or demon fire orbs, you can make gaseous orbs, and you can make grease orbs, but you need an alchemist to do that. And the higher level alchemist will tell how many ingredients you need to make all those orbs. It will reduce the amount as well as speed up the time. So for pretty much every machine that you have crafted, there is a thrall that you can get for that machine. Now the longer or the harder the thrall or the higher level the thrall, the longer it's going to take to break that thrall on your wheel. So let's go get this guy. He's kind of all out by himself. Now like I said, having a shield is very helpful for doing this. I do not have one, but let's get going with that. Let's see what level this guy is. Okay, let's wait here. My stamina's low. I want to get her before she goes back to the camp, though. Okay, she's a level 1. Alright, so you can see that blue bar was her knockout bar. So that blue bar shows me how much damage I do to her to knock her out with my truncheon. So since she was a level 1, she was very easy. She's uncovered. Now it says equip a rope to drag. So if you click on 6 and then you hit E, now she's rocked and ready to go. So you can carry a weapon in your hand while you're dragging, and you can sprint while you're dragging an NPC. So you can do both of those. You will notice that as I'm running, you will watch my number 6 bar, the little white bar underneath it. You will see that my fiber binding will slowly break. So before I came out here, I made sure to bring myself some extra fiber so that I could actually do this without it breaking. So it's ticking a little bit slow. By the time I get to my base, we're going to be good. Now, another thing to know is that when you are dragging a thrall, you cannot swim while dragging a thrall. So you got to find water that you can run through. So like right here, the water is shallow enough I can run through it. So because I don't have an elevator, and you can't climb either. So you can't climb with a thrall attached either. And because I don't have an elevator, I have to run all the way around through the stairs. But what I'll get is at 19, I am high enough, I'll make myself a vertical elevator, and then I can just drag my thrall up the elevator. And that way I don't have to go all the way around. So I didn't get a chance to kill any other of the NPCs. I basically, would have hacked them up with the Horax to get some ice shards from them. And then I would have hit them once, because you can only get ice shards one time for your whatever religion is. If you have a Yogg cleaver, if you have a Mitra dagger, if you have a set dagger, you can only get one swing worth of what you need to put into your altar. So there's no point hitting it multiple times. It doesn't matter. And so once you hit it once, for instance with Ymir, once I get my ice shard once, then I'd switch to my number 2 there, my iron skinning knife, and then I would skin the human for hide, because hide's more important than human meat. Alright, so this is a long way. You can see that my fiber binding, because I'm taking this such a long way, is already half gone. But we're almost there. So as I said before, each thrall has a specific duty. You have thralls that you can actually put onto your machines that help your machines, and then you have thralls like what I just hit is an archer thrall. Now what's really cool about combatant thralls like archers and warriors is that you can actually equip them with your own weapons and armor. You can actually have them follow you as well, which I'll show you here in a little bit. So we're at our base. We're going to break this bad boy, and as we said, we have the stairs here, so we're going to drag him up the stairs. Alright, we're still good. Still good. Come out here. Get up here. I think we'll make it without it breaking. Yep. And then, boom. So once you get to your Wheel of Pain and you have them on, you just hit E, and it'll put them in your Wheel of Pain. Now you'll see him right here, Zamorian Archer. So once you put him in your Wheel of Pain, you cannot take him out. If you move him and he's unconverted, it will destroy it. So we have to convert him first. So now we need to go get our gruel. So let's go down and get our gruel, and then we'll show you how this works. And then once he's done, I'll show you how you can equip a thrall with armor and gear, and I'll also show you how you can have a thrall follow you. Now again, the thralls that can follow you are only the combatant thralls. The other types of thralls, like a carpenter thrall or a tanner thrall, all those have to be placed on an actual bench. They don't actually follow you anywhere. Okay, where's my gruel? It might be up here. Yep. There it is, gruel. Okay, perfect. So we'll go throw some gruel up in here, and we'll turn it on. And then that thrall will eventually, well, that NPC, I keep calling them thralls, but they're NPCs until you break them on your wheel. Then they're actually thralls. So we'll throw this in here. Boom, boom. and go. So here we go, crafting queue, and there's the Zamorian Archer. If you watch it long enough, you'll see this little white tick start to go. Right there it is, boom. As a level, since it's only a level 1 archer, it should not take you that long. It should, maybe an hour, maybe less. It doesn't take long at all for a level 1. So now, let's talk about the different thralls and what you can put them on. So for instance, the Wheel of Pain, the thrall that goes on the Wheel of Pain is called a Taskmaster. So if you have a Taskmaster in here, it would take the time that it takes to break an NPC into a thrall, much less time. What you want to put on your altar is actually a priest or priestess of whatever your religion is. And basically, once you get to a tier 3 altar and you have a tier 3 priest, then basically that is when you can summon your god, and or you can also protect your area from a god bubble so that other gods cannot attack you. So that's what you put on those altars. Now let's talk about down here. Now another along with the archers and the fighters, there's also another type of thrall called a dancer. And so the dancer is basically a thrall that you can also equip with armor and weapons similar to the warrior and the archer thralls, but a dancer thrall removes corruption, and it also has a heal over time, depending on which level you have. I think a level 1 dancer does not remove corruption. I think it has to be a level 2 or higher in order to move corruption. But if you stand near or around a dancer thrall, depending on what level, it will remove corruption from you, and it will also heal you as well. Now, corruption is something that you get in this area here. This is the unnamed city, and so this is a really important part of the town, of the map, and this is where you would gain corruption. So as you gain corruption, basically what it does is it reduces your max hit points and your max stamina. So if you have 500 hit points and 500 stamina and you gain 10 corruption, you can only have a max of 490 of the hit points and 490 of the stamina until you remove that corruption. I'll show you how corruption works in another video. So that's what a dancer thrall does. So minus the dancer thrall and the the fighters, the warriors, and the archers, every other thrall is put onto a device. So for instance, the furnace, this would be your smelter thrall. As I said before, the fireball cauldron can take a cook, and it can also take the alchemist, which unlocks the orbs. The armorer's bench takes an armorer. The carpenter's bench takes a carpenter. The tanner's bench takes a tanner. The blacksmith bench takes a blacksmith, and so on and so forth. So it's pretty self-explanatory on which goes on to which benches. And so basically that's how thralls work. That's how you capture thralls. And so I'll probably fast forward here until that thrall is done and kind of show you guys how you can equip a thrall and also get a thrall to follow you around. So stay tuned. All right, people, welcome back. So on our thrall wheel here, we have our Zamorian Archer, and we have our Kushite Smelter. So I decided to go out and get a Smelter as well. Just an FYI, if these things are on your wheel is not lockable. So people, once they're broken, can easily just come and take them. But you'll notice that they have a huge amount of weight for them. So just keep that in mind. If your wheel is not, walled in with a door and it's during raid times or any time, basically people can just come in and actually take your thralls right off of your wheel. So I wanted to show you both of the thralls and kind of how they do it. So just for sake of weight, let's show you the archer first. So with a fighter type or a dancer, you put them on your bar, you select where you want them to go, and you place them. And so you'll notice that he's got a bow, and if I click on him, it will actually show that he also has a sword in case someone gets up in his face. He has armor here, and he has his bow here. So all thralls are now customizable. So if I say, hey, you know what, I want to give him daggers instead, I can throw daggers here. And so now he's using daggers. So you can completely customize all of your thralls to be however you want them to be and in what armor you want them to be. The other thing you can do with when I say all of your thralls, I mean fighter type thralls, things like that, dancers, bearer thralls, but not the ones that you put on your machines, which I'll show you here in a second. And so this guy, so not only can you equip him, you can hold E down, interact with him, and say move, and then you can actually move him where you want him to go. So you can say here. One thing to note, that once you put this guy down, you cannot pick them back up and put them in your bag. Once you place them, they're placed. You can move them around, but you can't like put them back in your bag. The other thing that you can do is follow. So I can say follow, and if I go, he'll follow me. Now the follow is kind of crappy. It doesn't work real well, but you can see that he's following me wherever I go, and so he's kind of like having an army of guys follow you. It needs a little bit of work on it, but you can also have them follow you like that. You can say stop following. You can interact, change their gear around, etc., etc. Now let's talk about the other thrall here, the smelter. So I got myself a smelter. He goes on to the furnace. So we'll come down to the furnace here. Hopefully not die. And we'll go ahead and we will throw him in the thrall there. And he'll show up right here. And so now having him on my smelter will make making iron bars quicker. And also, it'll also, well in this case, quicker, and then reduce the amount of iron stone needed for iron bars. I don't know what a level 1 does, but as you get to level 2 and level 3, it's pretty nice. You can put a lot of iron there, it cooks quickly, and you don't need nearly as much iron stone as you did before. So that's pretty much the video on thralls. Hopefully this guide showed you how to catch them, how to bring them back, how to put them on the wheel, what you need to feed in order to break them, and then how to place them where you need to place them. And so just one more thing to summarize, there's one for each types of these. You have an armor thrall goes on the bench, a cook and or an alchemist can go on the cauldron, you got your smelter on your furnace, you got your carpenter on your carpenter bench, your tanner on your tanner bench, your blacksmith on your blacksmith bench, and then like I said, you can have dancers which cure corruption that dance around. They can also be equipped with weapons. You have bearer thralls that actually can hold stuff for you, and then you have your fighter thralls, which are your warriors and your archers that can be outfitted with all sorts of different types of gear in order to fight for you, and you can move and place them around your base all together. One other thing to note is that if someone is climbing on your base and they take damage, they fall. Anytime you take damage while climbing, you fall. So placing archers around your base is also very nice to prevent people from climbing up on it. So that's it for Thralls. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If I did not cover anything that you wanted me to cover, please leave me in the comments below. I answer all my comments as long as they're constructive. And then stay tuned for episode 6, where we'll build some elevators and I'll show you exactly how high up you can go on this tower. You can pretty much make a base that is absolutely unrateable. It's just a pain in the butt to go up and down the elevators, but I'll show you, how that whole thing works. And then also we'll get into a little bit more of, where do you go from here? You're level 19 or 20. What's the next steps? So I would say that in the next episode, once you start breaking thralls, we're going to get back into focusing on getting elevators built and putting our real tier 2 base together, as well as getting some better gear and maybe doing some exploring around here to show you guys some of the cool places. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks again. This is Vaniverse. Cheers and peace out.